guys, FilmCrazyAdam here, and I'm about to go see 50 Shades of Grey. Oh, that's so humiliating to say, because this movie is just going to be so bad and degrading and stupid. It's been a long week, and it ain't getting any better. For anyone who doesn't live on the East Coast, you know that this past Tuesday we got a fair amount of snow in the morning. It didn't stick around much, but it was enough to add another hour driving time for me heading up, and then the trailer wasn't loaded, so I was sitting there for 2 hours, 2.5 hours actually, and I got home that night, and I had to be in bed in 45 minutes. That was rough. And this week has all just been one kind of, if it ain't one thing, it's another. So this is how I'm wrapping up my week with 50 Shades of Grey. I know I'm a week behind in that the movie came out last week, but I refuse to spend money on this movie. As it just so happens, there's a Regal's not too far from me, which is where I go to see most of my movies. And I have the Regal Club card, and every time you swipe it, sometimes something pops out of the machine, including your ticket. Sometimes it's a free soda, free popcorn, free candy, or a free movie ticket. And so, what movie was it that I saw? Something back in January. But I saw something back in January and a free movie ticket popped out. I'm like, that's it. That is how I'm going to watch 50 Shades of Grey, because I refuse to watch. I refuse to pay money to watch this. So I'm going to watch it for free, and you can't use the free tickets on the opening weekend for doing it this weekend. Oh, God. This is going to suck. I know I try to go into movies with as little preconceptions or little... I don't... It's going to... Oh, man. Why do I do this? Because I am of the school of thought that says if you're going to do a job right, now, if you're going to do a job, it might as well be done right. And I have taken on the I've taken on the title of internet reviewer, and I focused on movies. And unless you specialize in movies, like I'm just going to do B movies, or I'm just going to do sci-fi movies, or I'm going to do movies with just Kevin Bacon in it, unless you are going to specialize in a type of movie that you're going to review, then you have to review everything. You can't pick and choose. You can't whine about it. Well, I'm whining about it right now. But you can't pick and choose. You gotta... It's everything or nothing. And so, doing my due diligence, I am gonna go see this movie. It's not... I haven't read the book. I know of the book. I've done research on the book a little bit. So, I have a basic understanding of what this movie is going to be about. And, this is going to be rough, people. This is going to be really rough. So that's my mindset going into it. It's been a long week, and it's about to get longer. I don't want to do this. But I'm going to go do this. It's going to be so degrading for me and for the characters in the movie. First of all, I gotta go see it by myself, because no one is gonna go see that with me. Anyway, let's get this over with. I'll see you guys on the flip side. I got my winter jacket on. It was cold out. It's what temperatures are what I refer to as fuck you cold. Did I mention that in the first half of the review? I know I talked about it earlier in the week and how it just sucked. It was cold this week too. I can't do this right now. Wow. there was some memes going around that, you know, forever there's been memes that, like, you know, it's a picture of, like, peanut butter and jelly, and it says, a better love story than Twilight. Referring to the Twilight saga with Edward and Bella and New Moon and Eclipse and that dumpster fire. Well, somebody did it. They did it. Somebody found a worse love story than Twilight. Oh my god. Oh my god. I needed a palate cleanser after that. I actually went to go see Kingsman. So, I guess I'll make this a dual review. I know I didn't talk about it. Should I talk? What should I do right now? I can't. I can't do this right now, people. I can't do this right now. I'll see you tomorrow. Hey guys, FilmCrazyAdam here. So I saw 50 Shades of Grey yesterday. And Kingsman. Sleeping on it does nothing, by the way. It's still... My brain is so freaking numb. It's still awful. I feel so dead inside and so empty. I feel ashamed. I feel so ashamed that I saw that. I feel dirty. I feel ashamed, but anyone who made that movie, is in that movie, is going to make the sequel. You should be ashamed of yourself. This isn't a movie! Technically it is, but this is not a movie! God. Alright, so... Alright, so like I said, I saw 50 Shades of Grey yesterday. I knew it was going to be bad. I didn't know how bad it was going to be. I just knew it was going to be bad. It was bad. Knowing that, though, I planned ahead, figuring that I needed a backup plan. I knew I was going to need a palate cleanser after this movie. I knew that it was going to be bad. I didn't know how bad. So, I looked at the show times for 50 Shades of Grey, and I looked at the running time for it, and I did some quick and dirty math, and then I looked at when Kingsman was going to be playing. Because I was gonna see that anyway. I wasn't actually planning to do a review on Kingsman, but since I watched both of those in the same day, you know, I'm doing the review, and that's why, if you're wondering why I didn't do it before a movie for Kingsman, that's why. It's because I did see them both. Yes, I saw 50 Shades and Kingsman yesterday. I wasn't actually planning to do a review of Kingsman, but I think I'll do that because it'll be very therapeutic. I'll need to talk about something else when I'm done talking about 50 Shades of Grey. You'll see. But that was just my backup plan. Like, after watching both those movies, I came home. I attempted to do a review. That didn't work. So, I went with my original idea for a palate cleanser, and I just watched Death Race, the 2008 with Jason Statham. That helped. Not enough, but it helped. At that point, that was the third movie I watched. I'm like, I can't watch any more movies today because it's 3 a.m. I must go to sleep. So, I am so... I'm not angry anymore. I'm just dead inside. Because right after that movie, I snapped like a Twix bar. I didn't scream. I didn't run around flailing my arms. I did punch a pretty big dent in like the stall in the restroom at the movies though. I just went in there and I just like stared at the wall, and finally I just turned and punched it. I was so pissed because this movie, like I said, it's not a movie. This is a steaming pile of fucking shit. Like, I've raged about other movies. I've raged about things like Maleficent and Prometheus and Man of Steel. And those were bad movies. But they weren't trying to be bad. They just got fucked up. They added too much, or they rewrote the story too much. They tweaked it too damn much, and then it was a steaming pile of crap. This movie was trying to do what it did. It did it very well. It made, oh God. Ugh. Right now, I just tried to work myself up into a rage, but I can't. I'm so dead inside. This movie has just sucked the life out of me because I'm just so depressed now that was a movie. That's making tons of money. Hollywood put that out. Hollywood saw what they had, and they're like, we're going to make this into a movie. There's no standards out there. There's nothing they won't do now. You know, like, this isn't art. This ain't art. No. No. Stop right now. You're thinking right now, it's like, well, everything's art, everything can be done. No. This ain't art. This is not art. No. Fuck you if you think this is art. Even in the most abstract sense. This is somebody just taking a sexual fantasy. And I don't know how accurate, and like, I use the word fantasy because I don't know how many people are like, there's got to be at least 2 people out there. There's 7 billion freaking people out there. 2 billion people. Like, 2 of them have to be exactly like this idiot character, Anna, from 50 Shades of Grey. I mean, this person, so pissed at her. God, I just, so damn pissed. Because she was degrading to women. Her being in this movie was degrading to herself. I mean, they took a porno and changed it enough that the 2 things that you didn't see was female genitalia and actual, you didn't see the shaft going in and out of the tunnel. That's the only thing you didn't see. You saw male genitalia. There's one point where, in one of the many sex scenes, where he throws her down on the bed, and then, you know, he grabs his pants and does this, and like opens up, and you see crank. You don't see the whole thing. You see the top of it, and I'm like, ah! My eyes! Oh. Guys don't want to see other guys' cranks. No! Oh, God. The pain. How did I stay in that theater? I've walked out on movies. Why didn't I do it on this one? Why is this one not going to be on the honorable mention? Because I needed to experience it. I needed to see it. I needed to understand how bad it was. You know, you hear things, but it doesn't do it justice. You hear stories of the Grand Canyon, you see pictures of it, but it ain't the same as being there. No, that's something way different. Oh, man. You know, you see videos of skydivers. You hear their accounts of skydiving. That ain't the same as doing it. My best friend will tell you that much. Oh. This is, oh my God. Oh my God. I saw that movie. Oh God, I saw that movie. I saw 50 Shades of Grey. I'll be back. Alright, I can't do that. I'll be back. I'll be back. Alright, well that was a first. Yeah, that's the first time I've done that in a review where I couldn't, like, the movie was just so bad. it's affected me. It really has. When I was going in, when I was in the stall and I punched the wall in the stall, the metal wall, not the wall in the concrete with tile wall behind it, I would have broken my hand. I was so angry because Hollywood really has no standards, none whatsoever. I mean, they put this out. They dared to put their name on, like a studio has their name on this movie. They're like, we want our name on this movie. This is good. This is gonna make us money. You're right. It'll make you money. It's making you money right now. But you're awful. You are the worst. I was actually so pissed. I want to eventually get to a point where I'm working in that industry. I mean, I've done it before. I've worked in there briefly. I worked on the 2012 Hollywood Week for American Idol, which was awesome. Man, best job I've ever had. So much fun. So much food everywhere. That was just, I mean, and well paid. Very well paid. I was a production assistant and a shuttle driver for the people, for the contestants. You know, that was pretty damn awesome. Pretty damn awesome. I want to go back into that industry, but for like 2 minutes, I was so angry after seeing that movie, after seeing 50 Shades of Grey. I walked in. I was almost livid, because that's the industry I want to go into, that produced this fucking piece of shit. Alright, I walked around a little bit, and I think I can try and give a... Alright, let's do this. We got that out of the way. Focus now. Best shirt I could have worn yesterday. The element of the surprise that said WTF on it. Best shirt I could have worn for them for going to see 50 Shades of Grey. All right, so in a nutshell, 50 Shades of Grey, at its essence, is about a very rich millionaire named Christian Grey who takes a very unhealthy liking to this girl, Anna Steele, and wants her as his plaything. Plain and simple. He coaxes her, asks her, doesn't quite beg her, but like, he really does proposition her. It's like, I want you to be my submissive. I'm a dom, you're submissive, here's a contract. I'm not even kidding. He has a contract that they go over at one point. There is a scene in a boardroom between Anna and Christian where they go over a contract where they literally talk about things like anal and vaginal fisting and nipple clamps and female genitalia clamps and other stuff. Other freaking... Ah! I'm getting angry again because it's so stupid. Like, you joke about stuff like this. You joke about this. You don't make a movie about this. No! Bad jokes, inappropriate jokes, but you joke about it! They made a movie about it! And they have sex. I'm sorry, they fuck. His words, not mine. At one point, Anna is at his place or his hotel room, and he's like, and she's like, are we gonna make love now? And he's like, I don't make love. I fuck. This guy, I hate her, I hate him, I hate her way more. Because she is so pathetic. So pathetic. She's in an abusive, objectifiable, a relationship that has no love in it. It is purely animalistic fucking. This movie, it glorifies that. Now, I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. I'm not going to judge you. My opinion is that, my opinion on the subject it's one thing to, like, you meet somebody at a bar, or you meet somebody at a party, and, like, you're hitting it off, and there's chemistry, and you go somewhere, you go somewhere a little bit more private, and you do whatever. Maybe that'll lead to something else, maybe not. Afterwards, you might feel guilty about it, or feel gross about it. Maybe you'll feel happy, maybe you'll feel sad, maybe you'll feel angry. But you did something with, you did something. And then afterwards, you move on. Or you continue on. But there's no love. It could lead to something, or it could end right there. But I want to believe that most people, one of the two people in the relationship, look at this and say, I have feelings towards you. I, feel this towards you, and thus, I want to continue this relationship with you. Now, Anna, I don't know if she does have feelings. He doesn't. She's just a fuck toy to him. That's all she is. At one point, she calls him out on it. It's like, what am I, just your sex toy, your sex slave? It's like, no. You'll have complete autonomy. Like, he is such contradiction. This fucking asshole. All right. Because he says, like, I want you to sign this contract, and you'll be mine. And it's laid out really clear. I will take you whenever I want, wherever I want. There's stipulations. There's certain things. That's what the contract is about. I can do this, but I can't do this, but you're agreeing that I can do it whenever. Here is your room over here. I don't sleep with anybody. I sleep alone. I will have my way with you, and then I sleep there, and you sleep over here. And she's like, So he's an asshole. That close to being a psychopath. They joke about it in the movie. She works at a hardware store before she graduates. She's a college student. She's working at like a mom and pop hardware store. He comes in. He stalks her down. All right. Backtrack. The movie starts with her doing like an interview for her college newspaper or something with this guy who is a millionaire or a billionaire. We don't know which. And we don't know what his company does. He just has a company with his name on it, and he is filthy rich. And she is awkward from minute 1 in the movie to the very end of the movie. She is just, I don't know if she's just a really good actress. No, she is not. She's not a good actress. She played an idiot really well, but anyone can play an idiot really well. Her character has no self-control, and no common sense, and no sense of dignity. Her character, Anna Steele, belittles the female persona. Just makes them so pathetic. Like, she can't control herself. She is just swept away. She wants to be dominated. She can't help but submit and be dominated by him. And that's okay. You're supposed to root for her and him. You're supposed to be like, this is a good relationship. This is true love. I'm not telling you much about the story because there's nothing about the story. All right? That's another thing that pisses me off about this movie. There's no story. There is no plot. There's no substance. There is nothing to this movie. I'm getting way too angry about that. That is not cool that I'm that angry about this. This movie... Alright, let's go back to the characters. Because there's nothing else to do! Who was I on? Was it Anna? Was it Christian? I don't know. I'm going to go back to Anna, who belittles, like, not just her character belittles women and makes them pathetic and makes them just not even damsel in distress. Just, I am here to do with as you want. I am here, I have no self-confidence. I can't do anything for myself. You know, I've got I don't know what. Oh wait, what the hell did she? What the hell did she graduate? What was her degree in? I don't know. What are her interests in? I don't know. Her character is nobody. Nobody. I mean, maybe that was intentional by the author, so that she could be anybody. She's not just a pathetic. She's everybody. She's a college graduate. There's hundreds of millions of people who are college graduates. 100 million of girls who are college graduates. So you as the reader can put yourself in her place. Not only that, but the actress, whom I now have no respect for. None whatsoever. Who, through a good portion of this movie, you see nothing but full frontal on her. You see... And... Sorry. I mean, she ain't ugly, but I mean, no. She is... maybe a B cup. Maybe. She's way too fucking thin. There's a bunch of scenes where her hands are bind and then, like, you know, held above her or held behind her. And so when you do this stretching motion, it naturally stretches your skin a little bit. And man, she got xylophone ribs. I mean, you saw all, you could count them, man. No dignity. No sense of self-respect. Like, either she got paid $1 billion for this movie, or she has no self-respect. Even if you got... To just do that, like... I'm all... You know, I'm a straight red-blooded American guy who, you know, I love girls. I love girls' bodies, but I mean, like... Oh, man, have I dug myself a hole? I might have dug myself a hole. I'm gonna climb out of this hole. I'm just gonna leave it there. Man, just no self-respect. No self-respect, this actress, to do that much nudity. I mean, there's scenes where she's wearing nothing in the scene. In the scene, I mean, you see nothing, but that's because they work with lights and shadows and everything, so you don't see anything below the waist. You see man crank. Oh God! Oh my eyes! You don't see the whole crank. There's a scene where, like, he's unzipping and he opens up, and you see the top of his crank, and ah! It hurts. I didn't need to see that. I didn't see any of it. Anyway, her sex scenes were just so... They weren't even, like, good. You know, there are some scenes in movies where you actually... It raises your blood pressure and your body temperature a little bit. You're like, You don't see nothing. Like, in actual movies, not pornos or softcores, but, like, in actual movies, you're like, all right. You know, you're like, oh, they're getting it on, all right. And you see nothing. You don't see nipples. You don't see bush. You don't see crank. But it works, and it could be romantic, and it, like, you know, it heightens the story. It adds to the story. This just degraded the story further. You know, it... Oh, right, I remember what I was talking about. Back at the hardware store, he stalks her. After the interview, at the beginning of the movie, she goes to work at her hardware store job. He stalks her. I don't know how he found out she worked there. I, honest to God, don't. But he stalks her there. And then asks her to help him. And she goes, and he's like, what do you need? I need cable ties. What else you need? I need rope. What else you need? Tape. And she even makes a joke, like, oh, you got a full serial killer kit there. He's like, maybe. And then she bags it for him, and he goes away, and, like, she just... The entire time, she's like, oh, you got a full serial killer kit going. She fumbles over words. She's, you know, blushing. She's mixing words up, making Freudian slips. Now, as I understand it, he's supposed to be, like, gorgeous. Like Harlequin romance. Gorgeous. He's not. This guy they got playing Christian Grey, he ain't anything special, man. Like, guys, I mean, I'm looking at it from a hetero standpoint, so I don't know what constitutes a hot guy. I know what girls consider hot. Johnny is considered, Ashton Kutcher, Johnny Depp, Ashton Kutcher, Taylor Lautner. This guy, wait, ain't no Taylor Lautner. And I thought that this guy was hot. I thought Taylor Lautner was hotter than this guy. And this guy ain't no damn Taylor Lautner. So maybe I just don't get it. Maybe somebody will be like, no, he is steaming hot, Adam. You just don't get it. And I don't get it. But he seemed average. Maybe a little above average, but not like... There's literally like half a dozen to a dozen chicks in this movie. Oh my god, he's so gorgeous. He's so gorgeous. In the movie. Like, just girls fawning all over him. I got pissed about Snow White and the Huntsman, where everyone like fawns all over Snow White, played by Kristen Stewart. And I was like, really? No. No. So, this movie, I'm going to try and wrap this up. How long have I been raving about this? Too long. Anyway, I hope you guys got some entertainment out of this. Anyway, the character of Anna is pathetic. I hate her because she has no self-esteem, no dignity. Christian is one step away from being a serial killer. He is possessive. He wants her whenever he wants. She, at one point, goes to visit her mom in Georgia. They live in, like, the Seattle, Washington area. And she's like, I'm going to visit my mom in Georgia. He gets mad at her for doing that. Like, no, you're mine. He actually says, you are mine. You don't do things that I don't approve of, that I don't tell you to do. And she's like, well, I'm going. And she goes. He follows her there. He follows her across the country to Georgia. Stalks her to her mother's house. Tell me that's not serial killer. But the entire time he's like, if we got this contract, you'll be fine. Because in the contract, there's stipulations saying that if you don't feel comfortable, you can leave at any time. I'm not going to stop you. Anything that makes you uncomfortable, anything that makes you uncomfortable, that you don't like, you can tell me to stop. Safety word is yellow. You can walk away. Leave any time. I'm not holding you here. You're not my prisoner. You can do whatever you want. But you're mine to do with as I please. How contradictory is that? I mean, you're mine to do with whatever I want, whenever I want to. But you don't have to. Wait, what? And then you get mad at her when she, like, does what she wants? And you're telling her that she has to live with you in her own room, and you also have a sex dungeon? He has a sex dungeon. Y'all know he does. So, she's pathetic. He's a serial killer. It's a match made in heaven. This movie was degrading to men and women and just everyone. This is like... It's stuff like this, that when the aliens arrived on Earth to invade, and they want to wipe out humans, and somebody says, well, you can't wipe us out because we're not all bad. We're actually, deep down, we're a good species. That's when they pull up a visual of, like, did your species write this book and make this movie? And we go like, we did. And they'll be like, no, you're awful. You need to be wiped out. So, when the aliens arrived, we're screwed. I'm going weird now in the head. So, few more things on Anna. Like I said, there's nothing to say about the story. There's no story. A few more things about Anna is that there was like 4 times in this movie where she got cold feet and then backed out and said, no, I don't want anything to do with you, and walk away. Like, he would take her on like a helicopter ride, take her to like something romantic, like a dinner or a helicopter ride. At one point they're on a plane or a glider or something, and every time she's like, oh, this is great. And then when they get back on the ground, he says something and then she gets angry and then walks away. But in the next scene, she immediately comes back to him. And then she walks. It's like, you have no self-respect, you are pathetic, you are an awful idiot, because you can't just walk away. Like, he's bad for you. He just looking at you objectively and possessively. You need to walk away. And when she does, she turns around and comes back like a freaking idiot. Like a stupid idiot. That's why I hate her more than anything. Because she keeps coming back. She is just so pathetic and so idiotic, and he's a monster. I don't know how many people he's killed. He's got to have killed like 100 billion people. He's a millionaire. Make them people just disappear. Hand it to, like, you know, Ted, the driver, and be like, get rid of this for me. Cover it up. So, that's my ranting review on Shades of Grey. It is an awful, terrible piece of shit. No one should ever see this movie because you are degrading yourself by watching this movie. I have degraded myself. Man, you finally made a worse movie than Twilight. A worse love story than Twilight. I didn't know you had it in you, Hollywood. So, let me move on to my next review, and hopefully I'll feel a little happy after this. So I watched Kingsman, which came out this month. Was actually supposed to come out... Wait. This month? Yeah, it came out this month. It was actually supposed to come out back in November, I believe. But then they pushed it back here. I wasn't sure until I got to the end of the movie. Now, I'm going to try and do this without doing any spoilers. Kingsman is... This movie starts out one way, and it begins to evolve during the course of the movie. They play it pretty straight at the beginning for the first 3/4 of the movie. I mean, there's some ridiculous stuff. The chick with the blade feet that can literally cut anyone in two. That is... What the F? But you roll with it. You're like, alright, I can roll with this. There's sharp things out there. Sharp things cut people in half. Why not? You know, if a cable can do it, why can't blades on a feet do it? But so that's... You roll with that. And they set it up as, you know, almost a James Bond movie, almost a Mission Impossible movie, where there is a villain. They introduced a villain in the first 5 minutes of the movie. Sam Jackson. He is a millionaire, billionaire who owns a company, and he wants to help save the world. Literally, believes that global warming is an issue, that climate change is getting to that point where there is no returning. You know, we're getting to the point where there's no coming back from it. We're just going to ruin the planet. So he has a plan to save the world by killing most of it. I'm not even kidding. Not even kidding. He uses the analogy. He uses an analogy of when a human gets sick. And this is all true, actually. When a human gets sick and you have a high fever, you know, your body temperature goes up, you feel like crap, you have a high fever. Why? Because your body is actually trying to kill the virus, the infection, whatever it is, by overheating it. Viruses can only survive at a certain temperature. So if the body, basically it's boiling off the virus. If you make it hot enough for a long enough time, one of two things is going to happen. Either the virus is going to die inside the human body, inside the system, and then temperatures return to normal, or the body's just going to burn itself out and the human dies. Either way, the strategy works. The virus dies. It can't survive without a living host. So the virus will die in a dead human, or it'll die in, when the human overheats. And he uses this analogy about the planet, like, yeah, the planet is like a living organism. It has a fever. That's what global warming is, a fever. And so either it's going to burn itself out, because planets can just decide to do that, and kill off a lot of people. We're the infection, just so you guys know, we're the infection. So instead of letting the planet burn itself out, his plan is to thin the herd of humanity. I think he's like, we're going to kill like 2/3 of the species or something, and that will put everything back in balance, and the planet will go back to normal, and life will be good. All right, you're a maniac. You're an evil villain. Why not? That's a good enough plan as any. So the British have a secret service that doesn't answer to the government, called the Kingsman, and there's like 12 of them, literally 12 of them. I think. They base their whole hierarchy and even their code names off of Arthurian legend. One guy's named Arthur. If you guys know James Bond, the guy Q from James Bond is just Merlin in this movie. And there's like 12 guys, one for each Knight of the Round Table. You know, Lancelot, Galahad, so on and so forth. Sir Robin, Sir not appearing in this movie. Anyway, we start off the movie with, I looked at him like, is that Luke Skywalker? It is! Look at him, it's Luke! At first I was like, maybe it's not. And then he opened his mouth and I heard the voice of the Joker. And I'm like, that's him! That's my boy! So yeah, Mark Hamill is in this movie. He plays a professor. And he's good. He's gained a little bit of weight, but I mean, he's still good. I just wanted to add that because I like Mark Hamill. Anyway, so this movie, it progresses like a normal movie. Up to a point. At about the 3/4 mark, 75% into this movie, the train on the track starts to rock a little bit. You're going around turns a little bit fast, and you feel you might be tipping over a little bit. And you're like, whoa, this is getting weird. I don't know what's going on. And then the last 25 minutes of the movie, no, the last like 5 minutes of the movie, that train goes off the track and it becomes a wreck. And like a train wreck, you can't help but watch it. This movie, it had an interesting, it had a story. It had pretty one-dimensional characters. Like all the characters in this movie were pretty one-dimensional, like through and through. You know, the evil henchman, the odd job, the Jaws of this movie was, that's all she was. She was a gimmick, and she was one-dimensional. Sam Jackson had some good one-liners. I like when he shoots this one guy, and his henchman's like, there, don't you feel better? He's like, no! I killed a man! Well, you just killed an entire building full of people. No. They killed each other. I just killed him. That sucked! That was funny. When that movie comes out, I gotta take that clip and use it in the drop for my I heard that movie sucks reviews. It had a very, I was gonna say it had a very predictable end, but it didn't. This movie was pretty violent, like really violent. I'm saying a lot because whew. Like I said, this movie was a popcorn movie. That's what Kingsman was. Kingsman was a popcorn movie. You go in there and you don't think about it. If you think about it too much, that's why I don't like that's why of all the movies I go to see every year, I don't always do a went to the movies review for every single movie, because some of them people are like, what are you doing, dude? Why are you reviewing certain movies? This is one of those that, like, if you try to break it down, it's a popcorn movie. It'd be like trying to break down the Fast and the Furious series. You just watch it because it's fast cars and it's action. I mean, Fast and Furious is one of those that you sit down and you try to watch. If you walked in the middle of the movie, you're like, I have no idea what number this is. Is this 6? Is this the one with the tank? Or is this the one that happens in, Mexico? Is this number 5? I don't know. But it's a very generic, very standard movie. It is super generic. I understand why they pushed it back. By the way, I think I've mentioned this in other videos before, but whenever a movie is pushed back, that is a huge red flag for me. They're like, uh-oh. That movie, like, something's not right in that movie. I know what's not right in this movie. It's the ending. I'm not going to spoil it, other than to say it's mind-blowing. Really. At that point in the movie, this movie becomes something amazing. I don't necessarily say that as a good thing. Like, it was going down in quality and terribleness. Like, this is just getting more ridiculous and idiotic the more we go down. And then it looped past reality and came around past infinity and became something incredible. Not good incredible, just whoa! Oh my god! Did you see that? Oh! Man, there's a lot of guttural noises I'm making. I want to talk about the ending, but I don't want to spoil it. It's just like, unlike Shades of Grey, where you have to, like, words cannot describe how terrible that movie is, and how awful it is, and how demeaning and pathetic, and just terrible, and, you know, it's a black hole, that movie. It sucks everything out of you. Your emotion, your life force. I guess it's no surprise, but that movie, going back to 50 Shades of Grey, it was so boring. That's another thing that pissed me off, because it was the same scene like 8 times in a row. He would have sex with her. She would get angry. She'd walk away. Next scene, she comes back. They do something. They go out on a date. She smiles. They're having sex. Like 8 times in a row. It's the exact same thing over and over again. Somebody somewhere must like it, because they sold like over 100 million copies of that damn book. But it was boring. And, not surprising to the title, everything was in shades of gray. So just watching the movie was boring, because everything was gray. Almost everything was gray. Or white, or black, or just... It was so boring. And the music was, like, non-existent. Like, it was there, but it was just pop music. It wasn't even good pop music. It wasn't even recognizable pop music, because the smart people don't want anything to do with this movie. You know, there's like no big name actors in this movie, because no one, like, smart people are like, I don't want anything to do with this movie at all. But anyway, so yeah, 50 Shades of Grey was boring because of color. It had none. Kingsman, though, that is a movie you gotta watch. You have to experience Kingsman. I am giving the green light and the go-ahead and saying, watch Kingsman. It is generic. It is silly. A bit stupid. There's a few... No. I was gonna say there were some good lines in there, but not really. I'm like, there's a bunch of good one-liners. I'm like, wait. No, there isn't. There's a back and forth conversation with, what is she, like the Norse, or like the Princess of Sweden, or Norway or something. Yeah. Anyway, Mark Strong is in this movie too. It's good to see Mark Strong in a non-villain role. I like Mark Strong. He's good. He was the villain in the terrible Ridley Scott Robin Hood. He was the French guy, because Robin Hood fights the French. Because we all remember that part of the legend. He was also the Lord Blackwood in, or is it Blackthorn? I think it's Blackwood, in the first Sherlock Holmes movie with Robert Downey Jr. You know, he always plays a villain. I think he was Sinestro. Yeah, and he was Sinestro in Green Lantern, so he becomes evil at the end. Yeah, so it was good to see him in a non-villain role. Wait. I think there was one other movie from 2012. Anyway, I think I've raged long enough about this movie, about Shades of Grey, and I think I've talked a little bit about Kingsman. It was an amusing movie. It was a popcorn movie. It had no substance to it, but it was an interesting take on an old idea. You know, it was a Bond movie, but trying to be less serious than a Bond movie. That's basically what it was. This was a Bond movie. It had the gadgets. It had the secret agent-ishness. It had the crazy world domination villain with the crazy sidekick with the henchman. This was a Bond movie. Just it wanted to be less serious, and instead of focusing just on an already secret agent, it's the first like third of the movie was Commodore Norrington from the Pirates movie tries to rescue Mark Hamill at the very beginning, but then gets cut in half by the bladed boot person, chick. And so he has to be replaced. I think he was Galahad. And so the first 2/3 of the movie is just about the training of like these 6 different people and you know, the one guy who's got issues, who Colin Firth is like, I will take you on because your dad was a secret agent, and yeah, you're gonna be a secret agent. You know, it's like, oh, call this number and if you ever need help, and when he gets in trouble, he does. And where am I going with this? I don't know. I'm done. Don't go see 50 Shades of Grey. It's a crime against God and humanity and Celestia. You'll feel terrible if you go see it. Like, it's not even good as like a porn movie, because you'll just be angry afterwards. Like, if you think it's gonna be hot, it's not. Like I said, she is bony as hell, and it is not hot what they do. So don't go see 50 Shades of Grey. Go see Kingsman. It was a fun watch. It was a piece of junk. I mean, it's a popcorn movie. It's okay at best. Sam Jackson's character has a lisp for some reason. I hate it, and I don't know why he has it. It's just stupid. Alright, that's it. That's it. I'm done. I'm done. Don't go see 50 Shades of Grey. Check out Kingsman. I'm sorry. I'm just dead now. Laters.